So you're wondering why you always fall for the wrong person? Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly why. One, you fall for potential, not reality. You fall for what you see that they could have or what they could give you, but it's not reality. Maybe this can happen to somebody with an ex, or this can happen to somebody in a relationship. You see how they act towards somebody else, and you see how that they're friendly with them, or that they're really a good partner, but then when it comes to you, the expectations are completely different. Well, you see the potential they had with that person, and then you compare it to yours, and it's two different things. That's because you looked at them for their potential, not for the reality. You're seeing what they could become, not what they actually are. Now, you can change a person, anybody could change somebody else, but if you were only looking up towards someone who had potential, you are not going to get what you want. Unless you try really hard, unless they try really hard, and you guys try hard together, you're going to get what you want. But if you don't, and you're just settling for something quick, and you want that potential while you're settling for something, you're not going to get that potential because you only looked at that part. It's like looking at science and looking at religion. They're two different things. Science is facts, religion is faith. Facts and faith. You need to look at the real part, and then you can look at the other potentials that you have. 2, you crave what feels familiar. Maybe you got with this person because they were similar to your ex, or maybe you got with this person because it felt familiar. Yeah, toxic relationships can happen when you get with something that just feels familiar because it feels like it feels comfortable, it feels similar, it feels like you've done this before. But that's not always the case here. You think you want to feel familiar, you think this is familiar, and then when something unexpected happens or unpredicted, everything goes everywhere. And that's kind of the point of relationships, and that's why as two people, that is your job to work it out. But not on that case. On the familiarity, you tend to go to this person because they have a sense of comfort. There is a way that they make you feel somewhat more comfortable. And that's good and everything, but even a little bit of difference is okay. Somebody making you feel uncomfortable, that's something else, that's different. But if this person makes you feel something familiar inside, that can be a good case, but it can also be a bad case. You do not know what to expect. You do not know what is real, and you do not know what you can't predict. So even if it's not familiar, it's okay. Everything in a relationship is going to be different. Not everything is going to be the same, and that's fine. 3, you confuse chemistry with connection. Like I said earlier, it's like confusing facts with faith. Those two don't work. And just because you feel a little spark doesn't always mean that spark is going to last or that it's going to be romantic. Now I'm going to explain why. Sometimes when you meet someone, you feel like spark or you feel like a little click. That does not always mean that they're going to last forever. Sparks can fade away just like you can blow out candles and just like balloons can pop. It's not going to stay forever just because it's something that you like or there was some kind of connection. And chemistry and connection are two different things. Chemistry is if something is actually going on, something is actually happening, you guys are getting romantic. Connection is when you two connect. And no, connection is not romantic. Connection is nothing to do with romance. Connection can be like a bond. It's just a bond, or it's just a friendship, or it's just a very, very, very bland relationship that probably got you into this mess. Now, the connection between you two can be mutual, which is not that good either, but it can also be just like friends. Yeah, I don't like to be friend zoned either, honestly. But sometimes when you have connections, they are not chemistry. Chemistry is a different thing. Chemistry is when you get into a relationship and you actually start having romantic conversations, you start going out on dates, you actually have chemistry. And connection is when you guys talk to each other, you know? Maybe you still hang out and everything, but there's a difference between those two. Chemistry has romance and connection does not. Connection is very general, and there's still connection and chemistry, but it's its own thing, and getting those two confused will literally have you confused for the rest of your life. 4, you want to fix or save them. Now, here's the hard truth. Some things you can't fix, some things you can't save. You're not a lifeguard, you're not a doctor, you're not going to rescue somebody, and you're not a therapist. One thing for sure is you can't fix everybody that you meet. Now, this is kind of like, I understand this one because every time I see somebody that's hurt, I know exactly what's going to help and I know exactly how to fix the situation. But that does not mean that they should always listen to me to fix the situation. And as bad as it sounds, honestly, there's just no way that it's going to work out sometimes. And fixing someone or saving them from something bad that's happened in the past is not easy, especially if you didn't experience it yourself. Maybe you did, but not from their perspective you didn't. And that is why fixing or saving someone, it can ruin a relationship. Look, I've been in situationships, not relationships. But where I know is fixing something is not always going to get them or you what you want, because they can want something completely different, and you can be trying to fix or save them and give them something that they don't need or don't want. I'm going to explain it here. Not every problem has a solution, and it doesn't have to. Sometimes things are meant to be left alone over time. If it's grief, if it's guilt, if it's stress, not every little thing is fixable. So don't try to fix something while you lose yourself at it. 5, you don't fully believe you deserve better. Now that sounds weird because you're probably like, I am with the better. No, you're not. You're with them because you're scared that if you do have better, you're going to lose them, and it's not going to be your best relationship. It's going to be your best heartbreak, and you don't want that. You settle for less because loving more or liking someone else better is too much hard work, or you just want it for the quick run, or this is just, you just don't have as much self-esteem as you should. Of course, everybody deserves better, but nobody knows if you deserve better than you have, and you are the only person who knows that. And sometimes you settle for less because loving someone else, loving someone more is losing someone more. If you settle for less, you're gonna lose less. If you settle for more, you're gonna lose more. And sometimes we don't want to lose more than we already have. And yes, this is totally understandable. Like, this is normal. I mean, you're going to get less because you don't want to lose more. It's kind of a sticky situation. But here's the thing. You don't deserve less. You don't deserve less than you already have. You deserve more if you're dealing with less. If you're dealing with less, you deserve more, honestly, okay? We're going to lose things in life. Everybody is going to lose things in life once or whenever. That does not always mean that we can fix or we can always save it or we can always just yearn for them. We have to move on because either ways, there's 8 billion people in the world, and if God gets you with someone that you actually like, that is what you call your soulmate. And whether you lose or whether you gain, you're still going to learn a lesson. Well, that's it for today, guys. Bye, like, and subscribe.